It's Friday, it's 1:30 in the morning, I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew, my mic barely works and my camera is crooked, but I want to talk. I want to share my feelings. So recently, a couple of pictures popped up on the internet of Aljamain Sterling and Sean O'Malley separately hanging out with Andrew Tate.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
And most normal people reacted to it with indifference, especially to Aljamain Sterling because he gets hated for no reason anyway, so what's a little more hate to him? But there were people that used the word problematic unironically that of course had a fit online. Oh, how could you? I don't like him, so you're not allowed to like him. Otherwise, I'm gonna not like you, and I'm gonna call you a sexist, misogynist pig. And I have some thoughts on that, and I'm going to split them up in two sections. The first section, I'm going to talk about the actual situations themselves, fighters hanging out with controversial figures that other people may not like, and what that means for the sport, and how that makes people view them, or what have you. And the second thing I'm going to talk about is Andrew Tate himself and how I personally feel about him. Alright, so let's start with fighters doing things outside of the cage or the ring that you may not like, or hanging out with people who you may not like personally. There's nothing that annoys me more than when a fight fan talks about the fighter that he considers to be the greatest of all time, and he talks about him like this. Hey, my favorite fighter is such and such. I like him for his skills. Yeah, he lost like 10 times, but he's a real warrior, and most of all, he's a great representation for the sport. He is so classy. What the fuck does that have to do with the caliber of fighter that he is? I feel like the two should be completely separate. The personality outside of the ring and the fighting ability inside of it. The three kings of mixed martial arts, right? We got John Jones, we got Anderson Silva, and we got George St. Pierre. Oftentimes, there are people that will rate George St. Pierre above Anderson Silva and John Jones, citing them liking George St. Pierre's personality better. Like, hey, George St. Pierre is into dinosaurs. What a nerd. I love him. He's great. He's the GOAT. No, that doesn't make him the GOAT. Fighting ability and being better than everybody else makes him the GOAT. Fighting is an objective sport. Two-man enter and one eventually ends up on top. It's like Grinder. Sorry, just saw an opening. That's what she said. I'm sorry, moving on. Nothing against George St. Pierre. He could very well be potentially the greatest of all time, but all I'm saying is his personality, when it comes to that, should be completely irrelevant. It has nothing to do with his fighting skills, his fighting ability, all of his titles that he won, anything that happened inside of the octagon. His personality is irrelevant. And same thing with John Jones. I mean, talk about his steroid use all you want, even though you know that I know that you know that
everybody's on steroids.
But whatever. Pretend that you don't know that fact and, condemn him for his steroid use and kick him out of the GOAT rankings like Michael Chandler, who's obviously on steroids himself. But just leave his personality out of it, because really, who cares if he does cocaine? Who cares if strippers don't like him, or pregnant women either? I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Basically, whatever happens in the ring or octagon stays in the ring and octagon, and whatever happens outside happens outside. And all the hyperbole I've seen thrown Aljamain Sterling's and Sean O'Malley's way about never having him fight again and stuff like that, I mean, guys, seriously, stop it. Get some help. As for my thoughts on Andrew Tate himself, to be honest with you, I'm not overly familiar with his ideology. I don't watch him religiously or anything, but from what I can gather, he's basically a red pill guy. And honestly, guys, as far as I'm concerned, red pill philosophy is not a bad philosophy. It's goofy at times. Sure, it's a little kooky, it's crazy, people take it way too far and look like idiots, but all it is a way for men, or young men rather, because that's mostly the audience for these things, lift themselves up out of the rut they're in emotionally, romantically, financially, and what exactly is wrong with that? Now, Andrew Tate is extremely easy to take out of context, to look at one of his quotes or his sayings or interaction with whoever and just be like, wow, this guy is a total piece of shit, he's a misogynist, and that's because of the aggressive style of delivery that he uses to disseminate his ideas. But the reason he uses that aggressive style is because it is the most effective style for the audience that he has. So the audience that he has consists of teenagers to young adults, you know, so basically 15-year-olds to like 22-year-olds, but it doesn't make them a literal anything or the worst person in the world. It just makes them unpalatable for the mainstream. Now, as far as anything else that he has going on that I may be unaware of, I mean, I reserve the right to change my opinion later because, like I said, I didn't study this dude, but from what I can tell, he got banned off of every platform pretty unfairly. And all that did really is create a brand new monster because people that normally would have been indifferent to him, like myself, are now suddenly on his side because of how blatant the banning was. And now he's absolutely crushing it out in Transylvania or whatever with his podcast. So what did you guys really do? But anyways, thanks for watching. Like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe, comment. Have a good one. I'll see you soon.